Did you ever done a theme so immersive that it looks like you are stepping into another world? Well, this one is not a world, but I could be an apothecary in this theme, learning about new plants, trying out different venoms and medicine, and just staying inside my lab all day. Hi, I'm Juliana and welcome back to another video. Today, as the title says, I'm doing an apothecary theme heavily inspired by one paper that I have for like 2 years now, and also the anime The Apothecary Diaries, which I love. Since I laid my eyes on this paper, I knew I had to do an apothecary theme, but I never came around to do it because I didn't have stickers that would go well with the theme, or I just found another theme that I liked. But March 2026 is the time to do it. For the cover page, I'm doing a little collage in the middle. Whenever I decorate my quote page in fully, I try to balance things out on the other page, so it doesn't get too overwhelming, so that's why the decoration is more on the center. I chose a few papers and washi tapes that would go well together and would match the theme, like a green paper, some text with flowers, and also a paper that has some bones in it. The color palette of this theme is pretty much deep green and brown, but I tried to complement those dark colors with some more neutral ones like beige and white. This theme gave me the opportunity to use stickers that I have in my stash for years now, and that's why I love doing collages, just using things that usually you don't put together, but as a theme they look amazing. For the stickers, I'm using many different sticker sheets from Sticky, a few glass bottles that are more of a cardstock material, so they really pop against the background, and some plants to, of course, stay in the apothecary vibe. For the titles and any fonts for this theme, I'm using my alphabet wooden stamps because I didn't really have a font that would match the theme, and I think the stamps give a more academia vibe to the setup. And also I did it with a brown ink pad instead of black. I have deep and dark colors in this theme, but I didn't want any black that is much more cold, and I wanted to keep the warmth of the browns. For the quote, I think it was fitting if I chose one from the Apothecary Diaries, so I chose this one. If love makes a woman more beautiful, I wonder what kind of medicine does it make? This fits the vibe so well, and I think it's actually a very interesting quote. And after I glued the quote to the page, I'm just adding a little lantern on the cover page, and this spread is pretty much done. Let's continue on to my calendar. This spread was very interesting to think about. I had this idea that I could make my calendar in this lined paper that is actually from a very old notebook that I have, but I wanted it to be on top of some background. So I cut the calendar off camera, and I'm starting by putting different papers on the spread. I have this wood vellum paper that I love, then I also put some old pages from a book and the paper that has bones in it. And this is going to be the background for my calendar. Then I'm doing all the lines in the calendar with a brown fine liner. I really wanted the lines to be noticeable and a little thicker because they could blend in with the lines of the paper, and I didn't want that. Then for the days of the week on top of the calendar, I put down a strip of brown paper. This is the paper that comes with a package, you know, it's thin and exactly what I needed, so I just put it down and stamped the letters on top of it. For the decoration, aside from the background, I put more papers and washi tapes, the ones I used in the cover page before, all around the calendar, and added a few more touches with these potions PET tape that I'm putting on the bottom, and more plants as well. This PET tape is from Journal Say, so you can use my code if you want that. Then I'm just laying different stickers and papers as I go, and that's pretty much it for the decoration and for this spread. The process is always the same, I'm just alternating the different materials for each spread. To put the numbers on the calendar, I used this dot marker from Ohuhu in brown to make a little dot in each square, and then I'm writing the number on top of it. I think it just adds a little something to the calendar, and it's not very overwhelming, so you can still focus on the calendar and the decoration around it. Moving on to the next spread, we have my tasks page on the left and my brain dump on the right. I usually make a whole spread for my tasks, but I haven't been using 2 pages for that, I ended up only using 1, so I decided to split this spread for the tasks and the brain dump, which is also a spread that can be reduced to 1 page only. And after I filmed this whole setup, I actually realized that I forgot to do one spread, that is the monthly review, which is something I've been doing since the beginning of 2026. So I'm going to do that spread off camera and show you in my April setup. So this spread is pretty much empty because I'm only going to write when I know what tasks I'm going to do in March, and the brain dump is just for anything that crosses my mind. The 2 pages are not related at all because the tasks page is for my work and the brain dump is for random things, but I wanted the spread to feel like it was one whole spread and not just 2 different pages. So I decorated both sides of the spread and I'm trying to mirror the design. So for example, the washi tapes and the vellum paper that I did on one side is mirrored to the other, and then the washi tapes, they are on top and on the bottom. The same is for the lined paper. And that just helps to create some balance with the decoration, and in my opinion, it looks really good. For the titles, I stamped them on the brown paper, and I'm going to put the tasks on the top and the mind unwind, that is the brain dump, on the bottom. And that's it for this spread. Let's continue on to the weeklies. I'm doing Dutch doors again. For anyone that watches my videos, you know this is my favorite layout for my weeklies because it's easy to set up and easy to decorate. But this time is also because the papers and the washi tapes and the stickers on top are going to bulk up the pages a lot. And I'm doing that on a few spreads, so I'm trying to minimize the impact of that on the spine of the journal. I know from experience that this journal that is from Text Washi is very good, and it can actually take a lot of paper and materials, because I did that before with my Text Washi journals and I didn't have any problem, but I'm trying to be more careful just in case. So this way, since I'm decorating one spread instead of 4 or 5, one for each week, I'm only bulking up one spread, and that makes a difference in the end. This time I tried to do something different. Usually I would just draw the rectangles for each day with a fine liner and call it a day, but since this setup is full of papers and collages, I decided to use a roll of this dot craft paper from Journal Say, and I cut 31 rectangles, one for each day of the month, and for the notes section I cut rectangles from the lined paper that I used before. I did all of that off camera because it was quite a lot, and I spent a lot of time doing that because I had to measure every rectangle to make sure it was okay. And the good thing about this roll is that it has a release backing paper on the back, so when it comes to put it on the paper, it's much easier. I did the same thing for all of the Dutch doors, and for each day I'm putting the circle numbers from Ikigai Papir and stamping the day of the week on the same line. Then, before moving on to another week, I used a scrap piece of paper to put on the Dutch door so that when I closed it and did the next one, the stamp wouldn't transfer to the page or smudge, because the ink takes quite a while to dry, and honestly I'm not very patient, so that was my trick to make sure that didn't happen. And then it was just repeating the same process until the last week. Now that the functional part is done, let's decorate. And this time I'm putting all of the decoration contained on both sides, making sure the papers or the tapes don't pass the vertical line. In here I used the same paper I used in the quote page. I didn't have a lot of it left, so I tried to use it in here, just a little bit on the top and the bottom. Then I just made the background as I did before, with the tapes and the papers, some washi tapes also on the background, and then the stickers on top of that. For the right side, I'm just going to repeat the process, make sure it looks balanced with the other side, mirror some of the materials, and that's it. I really like this type of decorations and layout, just two strips on both sides of the functional part. With the Dutch door, I think it looks much more dimensional, it creates some depth without doing much, and it looks good, especially because the decoration is quite dark, which contrasts really well with the white of the paper on the middle. I also have been dying to use this Vines PET tape, so this was the perfect moment to use it. Moving on, I'm just going to decorate the borders of this spread, because this one is going to be for my journaling prompts. I did a little table on the initial setup and I found 24 prompts online. I chose the ones I wanted and made sense to me, and I put them on the table. And I decided to make these because I want to journal a little more about my feelings and moods and things like that this year. So I think that having those prompts ready to go are a good starting point. So at the end of each month, I'm randomly picking 1 or 2 numbers, and that's going to tell me which prompt I have to write about. And this spread is just for that. I want enough space to write because I don't know if I want to journal about 1 or more prompts. This one was very easy to decorate. I just started with the corners and then made my way through the borders. After I realized that I was missing one spread, I decided I'm going to use the leftovers of the stickers and the papers wherever I can to create the monthly review, which is going to be fine because that spread is more functional, it has lots of sections, so I don't need a lot of decoration for that. And it's time for the final flip through. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give a like, subscribe and comment down below any plant emoji to let me know you watched it till the end. I'm really satisfied with the way this theme turned out. It was a setup I've been wanting to do for quite a while now, so it really made me happy to finally come around to do it. It looks complicated, but it wasn't that bad. I'm quite used to doing collages, so that comes more natural to me, and the other functional parts weren't difficult, they were just time consuming. But I'm in love with the final result. I'm going to link everything that I can down below, and also follow me on my socials. I'm really posting consistently on Instagram and TikTok, so show me some love there. I'm posting more about books and reading in general, but I'm still posting about my bullet journals and reading journals on there as well. I hope you have a lovely day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!